Speaking of not understanding any thing, how have they managed to not only make MJF's TV appearances less anticipated, but in the process, they have determined that Jay White needs to be out there talking for 10 minutes straight. And then they put them together.
This was another big expose of Jay White on the mic. We've seen it happen a few times on Collision, where it kept going and going, and he wasn't really saying anything. He had energy, but he had nothing to say. And there's a lot of people that rave about him in the New Japan media scrums or whatever they are. That's a different animal.
The only one who can speak English.
But that's a different animal. Sitting there at a table with a microphone and being able to not scream or anything is different than being in the ring in front of a room full of people. He's proven it several times now. He keeps going and going and no one stops him, and it doesn't help him at all.
Well, but first, before he even came out, we got MJF and Adam Cole. And Adam Cole had to reveal that he's fucked his ankle up and needs surgery. And we have no reason to believe this is a work. He jumped off the ramp doing a run-in and broke his ankle. And so now that's whatever the fuck was going to happen ain't going to happen no more. It ain't going to happen for a while. And it was already getting a little long in the tooth. But now to try to make some chicken salad out of the chicken shit that they've been handed. Now the story is MJF is not going to let him relinquish the Ring of Honor tag team belts. He's going to make sure they're still there waiting on Adam Cole when he gets well. And he's going to defend those belts this weekend at the pay-per-view against the Aussie jobbers by himself. So now you've got...
No, not the Aussies, the Righteous.
Or the I'm sorry, the Righteous, not the Aussies. I'm sorry, I apologize. I couldn't read my shorthand. So he's going to defend them by himself against the Righteous is what he's going to do. And here comes, because they've got him, the world champion, in this position where he's having to defend a secondary non-existent company's tag team belts because they let this happen. And then they've also got to still tie up the loose ends with Roddy and Taven and Bennett. So now Roddy comes out in a wheelchair and a neck brace and a hospital gown, as we mentioned earlier in the program from previously. Does he check out of a fucking hospital and check into one in a new city? They're in a different city every week. And it's so unbelievable. I need you now, Adam. It's an emergency. And Adam, supposedly a babyface that we want to sympathize with, is falling for this like a goddamn, fucking suburban housewife. Oh my God, it's my husband Phil. He needs me. So then MJF tells Adam, I understand. He's your boy. Go do what you got to do. I'll be here waiting for you when you come back. And they hug each other. I'm thinking, my God, it's a romantic fucking dramedy. What the fuck? And then Cole hobbles out of the ring on his broken fucking ankle to go see Roddy in his fucking wheelchair and neck brace. And I wrote, good God. Oh, good God. And then suddenly the music plays and there comes Gin and Juice and the Guns. And Jay White comes out to the ring, and we're 7 minutes deep in this thing already. And deep is an apropos description. And have you noticed that Jay White, I mean, there ain't a goddamn lot of difference in his physique and build and Adam Cole's. It just, with the beard and the fucking extra man bun, he looks like Adam on crack.
He's taller. That's it.
He's taller.
Wrestlers shouldn't wear skinny jeans.
Wait, is that what because I thought, my God, those legs could win a fucking legal battle. Fucking sue the whole body for non-support.
It stood out to me. I mean, I noticed how skinny his legs looked, and I thought about everything you just said is what I thought watching it. So,
and that's the thing. MJF looks like Luger next to his opponents. So Jay White is now going to tell MJF off. And as I mentioned, he got his hair in a fucking bun and a scruffy beard, and he's dressed like a slob. And it looks like you invited a fan into the ring to cut a fantasy promo. If he's going to be in a main event position, jaw-jacking with the world champion, can he not groom himself and get a fucking look? And MJF tried hard to get the people interested. And I think that's probably, he does have a tendency sometimes when he knows that they're wearing out their welcome, he tries too hard. But it was like he was cutting a promo on the hot dog vendor because it was long. The delivery was okay, but the people don't care. Do you see Jay White getting over as a goddamn superstar with these people?
I think he's over. The people he's over with already as a superstar will continue to see him that way. I don't know about getting over. I think Juice is the one who has stood out in the group.
Yeah.
And MJF tore down the heel right to his face. And,
yes.
the guy had nothing he could say back.
He's tofu. And that's the thing. He's tofu. He's in the middle of a bunch of good shit. But if you put him out there on his own.
See, you know what the problem with MJF saying the tofu thing?
It's true.
If you think about it, it's true. That's the problem. So now he makes it so that you look at the heel, you're like, how am I supposed to take this fucking guy seriously?
Yeah, here's this fucking toothpick-legged, fucking scraggly-haired, man-bunned, fucking sweatsuit-wearing guy with a whiny fucking voice and an accent. And the American audience doesn't like whiny people with accents. And I don't mean in a heelish don't like way. I mean, he sounds like he's trying to convince himself and everybody else at the same time. And he's saying a lot of words. Whether the joke on the Twitter, thank you, first name bunch of numbers. We ought to call him Jay, a lot of words. He's saying them vehemently, but dang. And so, but basically, MJF told him off and tore him down first, and then Jay White started. And the fans, besides chanting tofu at him, the retort was long fucking winded. And MJF had to stand there and listen to this fucking drivel. And the fans started chanting, shut the fuck up, because they wanted him to. And, he's there. It's like he's screaming at MJF, who looks like somebody, but the guy that's yelling at him is the guy that showed up to service the dishwasher. And so finally, then MJF got pissed and screamed at Jay White and dared him to fight. And Jay White left. And that was the end of that. 21 minutes long from start to finish with no breaks of what we just said.
Yeah, again, it was a bad expose of Jay White and no one can compete with MJF in there on the mic. I mean, Punk was pretty good, but it's hard to do that. MJF's really good. And him as a babyface tore the heel down and the heel couldn't say anything. And it's one thing to be in a room doing a promo. It's another thing to be in an arena and having to actually go back and forth with someone. Jay White has not shown an ability to be able to do that yet. We'll see what happens.
And they didn't even really go back and forth. MJF did his thing. The other guy stands there and listens, and then Jay White does his thing. There can be a back and forth argument, but not when you've pre-planned. And MJF, I'm sure, can do it with anybody, but not when you've pre-planned your cues to speak and the things you're going to say and blah, blah, blah. And Jay White don't need to be jumping into that fucking pool.